Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and in this video we're going to take a look at the latest game to be delayed because of the current pandemic. Unfortunately, it's God of War. We're over here on IGN. This is the first place that I saw the story. I know this says it's a delay, but in all honesty, I didn't know if we would be getting it this year anyway. But let's take a look. Link in the description below if you want to check the article out yourself. As always, you're more than welcome. But God of War 2 delayed to 2022 will come to PS4. That's the big bit for me. However, Horizon Forbidden West is aiming for holiday 2021 release date. I wasn't expecting that either. I didn't think that we'd be getting Forbidden West this year. So that's a bit of good news. Sony has announced that the sequel to 2018's God of War has been delayed to 2022 and that the much anticipated game will be released on both PS5 and PS4. Head of PlayStation Studios Herman Hulst announced on the news on PlayStation blog in a Q&A where he discussed what's next for PlayStation Studios. Oh, that might be worth a read. While he shared that Horizon Forbidden West is still on track to release this holiday season, God of War started a little late, so the decision was made to push the game to 2022 to ensure it is the amazing God of War game that we all want to play. I'm sure I've said this before, if you're delaying a game for, the reason of let's make it awesome and let's get it as polished as we can, yes, 100% you should delay the game. The studio need to be happy that the game is working as intended on every platform that it ships on. Yes, we're looking at you, Cyberpunk. So, we have currently two very big, very narrative-driven games in development, Horizon Forbidden West and the next God of War. And for both of these, they're frankly affected by access to performance capture and talent. I think that a lot of people are struggling with that. Hulst said, for Horizon, we think we are on track to release this holiday season, but that isn't quite certain yet, and we're working as hard as we can to confirm that to you as soon as we can. Okay, so potentially Horizon could be delayed as well. And for God of War, the project started later, so we've made the decision to push that game out to next year to ensure that Santa Monica Studio can deliver the amazing God of War game that we all want to play. With these things, something's got to give. It can't be the quality of our titles, and it surely won't be the health or well-being of our amazing team. That's the right stance to take. PlayStation doing it right. By the sounds of it, at least. Santa Monica Studio shared a similar message on Twitter, thanking fans for the amount of love our community has shown us since the teaser trailer for the God of War, the next God of War aired last year. However, it wants to deliver an incredible experience while not sacrificing the safety and well-being of the team, and the delay was the best option to accomplish both. We remain focused on delivering a top quality game while maintaining the safety and well-being of our team, creative partners and families. With this in mind, we've made the decision to shift our release window to 2022, Santa Monica Studio wrote. 2022, are we talking, I don't know, summertime, or is this going to be the big fall push? Because if it's fall, that gives them 15 months to keep working on it. That's a lot of polish, depending on how far in they are. If they still need to do mocap, you can see why they'd need that extra time. But if it really is just a little bit of touching up, a little bit of mocap, just tie off all the loose ends here, it might be earlier, who knows. The next God of War will be available to the 110 million plus PS4 owners. We'll get there in the end. Hulst continued by explaining how important it is that Sony will not abandon the more than 110 million PS4 owners. He promises that it was still very important to have showpieces for PS5. I agree, but I kind of disagree as well. You can't build a community of over 110 million PS4 owners and then just walk away from it, right? I agree. I think that that'd be bad news for fans of PS4 and frankly not very good business. I also agree. where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5 for Horizon Forbidden West, the next God of War, GT7, we'll continue looking at that. And if PS4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PS5 version, that game will be there for them. Did he just confirm that Horizon Forbidden West will be PS4 and PS5 as well? That being said, it's also very important to have showpieces for PS5, hence the development of Returnal and Ratchet that are exclusive to PS5. Interesting. It's an interesting stance because Horizon Forbidden West and God of War will shift much bigger numbers if you do it on both platforms, but I'm still very much of the mind that you have these mega step up in console power between a base PS4, let's say, an early PS4 from 7 years ago, and the PS5. I mean, even the PS4 Pro and the PS5, there's quite a difference there. I know a lot of people say it doesn't harm the game, and it's whatever magic they do is fine, but look at Cyberpunk. It all comes back to Cyberpunk. And there were other problems there, and I don't think that Sony, so many vast, amazing games, with so much wealth and experience between all the studios in their portfolio, would ever let anything like Cyberpunk happen. But in the back of my mind, I'm always worried that holding on is a bit of a problem. I played Wasteland 3 on a day one, 7-year-old at the time, Xbox One, and it killed the console. It just couldn't do it. And Wasteland 3, I wouldn't say, is a very demanding game, and it certainly isn't a showpiece game that will sell you consoles. Horizon Forbidden West and the next God of War are big games that would shift consoles regardless. So this is good. This is going to be interesting. That's just my view. I could be completely wrong, and in the careful hands of Sony, I do not think that we will have any kind of catastrophe on our hands. But I understand the stance that they're taking, and it does make very good business sense to take that stance. I know Xbox took that stance before they released the consoles and they got flack for it, but I feel the same way. It makes sense. Why would you cut off your existing user base? But like they say, showpiece games, the very definition of a showpiece game for the PS5, surely Horizon Forbidden West, surely God of War Ragnarok. This is all separate. We'll carry on. So PlayStation Studios' new IP include a new game from Days Gone, Bend Studio. Also discussed how important new IP is for PlayStation Studios, which account for half of the 25 titles currently in development at PlayStation Studios. Wow, that's a lot of new IP, which is great. New IP is incredibly important to us. New IP is the lifeblood of gaming, but new IP is just one aspect of our strategy. Ultimately, I want PlayStation Studios to be fiercely daring, to take risks. I want us to continue to embrace the legacy of PlayStation, push the boundaries of gaming, keep making games that matter, games that probably wouldn't have been made anywhere else. And you know, Bend Studios is working on a very exciting new IP that they're very, very passionate about. They're building on the deep open world systems they've developed for Days Gone, so I'm really happy for Bend Studios. This news follows the report that Bend Studios' Days Gone 2 pitch was rejected and then resulted in the studio working on this new project. These answers and more can be heard in the full interview on the official PlayStation podcast, where he also discussed the importance of single-player narrative games, while partnerships with Haven, Firewalk, Kojima Studios and From Software are a huge focus, while Japanese games and talent remain extremely important to Sony, and how he hopes we haven't seen the last of Astro. It sounds like that's well worth checking out. If you want to hear the whole thing, check out the latest PlayStation podcast. I think there was an article on PlayStation blog they said as well, which would be well worth checking out. I will probably check it out myself. Yeah, all the links to everything seem to be in this IGN article, which I've linked in the description for you to check out. So definitely, there sounds like there's a lot of stuff in there, and a lot of it talking about the future of where at least Herman Hulst wants PlayStation to go. So I will definitely check it out, but I won't be doing a video on it, unless I see something I need to talk about. I think we've pretty much covered this one. Yeah, my head just, yeah, I'm struggling to process why you wouldn't at least do one of the two, Horizon Forbidden West or God of War, as a solely next-gen console seller. Not that Sony need the help, let's be honest. But if, God of War is now coming out 2022, let's say fall 2022, it gives them a chance to sort out the supply issues, to get enough PS5s ready, and they've already sold an impressive amount of PS5s. And as things start to level out a little bit in the world generally, more people will hopefully be able to afford them to make that jump to next gen, and then you will get God of War, and you will be rewarded for making that leap within the first 12 months. That in my head works as well, but I understand not wanting to cut off the 110 million PS4 owners, some of which have probably migrated, but nowhere near that number. It sounds like it was the right decision to delay God of War at this point in time. It sounds like Horizon Forbidden West is very much wanting to be out this year, but if it does get delayed, try not to be too disappointed, because all they're doing is making the game better, and it already looks pretty impressive. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.